So the breaking winds was interrupted during a live recording yesterday, and it was apparent that certain segments of the audio were removed from the recording, unbeknownst to the parties that pressed record. I'm going to try to do a little monologue of what was omitted in the dialogue by our faceless censors. I believe we were speaking a lot about apple juice, apple juice, in particular apple juice, and Mumbles. Mumbles is going to just have the mumbling manginologues, just to hopefully bring some closure to this, to everyone. So the apple is, not what it seems. The apple is laced with poison. Anytime you have a word that begins with a noun and is immediately followed by two consonants, it means that word, it's a negation of whatever is following that APP or the OPP, like, right, for an example, opposite or opposed. So OPP or APP is a negation of fact. So apple, who's L is creator. So it's a negation of God, quote unquote God, a negation of God. And the biting of the apple is setting forth the knowledge of all that is good and evil. And with that, the juice started to squeeze, and we were expelled from the garden. Now, how did they do that? Did they, I say they, but really, it's, there is no word there when I say they. It's actually just it's invisible. The word they does not exist. So as I say it, it's totally just vanishes. It's a making of noise with no physical concrete manifestation. They is an invisible entity. TH, the letter Y, EY, these are all the thorns in the side. If we know anything about the Latin alphabet, the thorn, because of our friends in the French region, France, the Francs, they can have a hard time saying the so they replaced the TH sound, or the thorn, the Latin thorn, they replaced that with the TH or a YE, like ye, or the or ye. So they is a combination of both of those words, forward and back. So it's just a ye and a thee, and it's collapsing on itself in the middle like the fold. Everything is folded, and it's just invisible. It goes away. But they, being an invisible entity, or the hidden hand, expelled us from this garden or paradise, which we can trace back to Africa, and where these supposed origins of life, where this garden sat, was over by Egypt. It wasn't Egypt, in fact, but it had a different name, of course. I'm sure it had a different name to anybody and everybody who's ever been. So instead of physically, because there's no physicality, there's no manifestation except for the what's being played out on the stage, right? So there's these subtle currents, these invisible entities, these spirits, these gins and juices that are putting the squeeze on, unbeknownst to us, like invisibly almost, as if from behind the curtain. So they don't have a physical hand to reach out and put you on the boat or put you on the train, depending on where or when we're talking. So they make man build these structures that ultimately lead to their own demise. In this case, speaking of paradise in the garden, I mean, I know a lot of you will disagree, but I think we're placing the time frame somewhere around 1776, where these structures were put into place, where they pressed play, and the pyramids. If you follow, I don't know, Graham Hancock, or I don't even know whose name to put out there to give any real credence to pyramid power per se, the pyramids being a power plant sitting on an aquifer and being used, or being energized by the water in the soil. I think that's partially true. I think it's kind of backwards. It's power plant, as in took the power from the plants, and it dispersed all of the humidity and liquidity from the rich and abundant soil, and starved the land, and that in turn drove the people out of paradise, or out of the garden. Now, why do we say that these wheels were just put in motion in 1776? Because, yes, there was things that existed, that we have a prehistory, but the history, everything that we know that stands as it is, was kind of, in other words, it was given to us, right? This is the story we are being handed. Here are the texts. We're going to backdate the texts, and there's going to be a lot of missing pieces, but that's going to give you something to do ultimately. And like, what else is there really to do except for like mine gold in the desert, or mine diamonds, or grow corn, or grow potatoes? What is there really to do? I mean, what is there to do that's, it's not for the sake of itself? In other words, everything here is kind of just a self-serving type. I don't even want to know. I don't. It's like a self-serving ice cream machine, where you get that soft serve twist of the black and the white, the combo. And they're just braided together in such a way, and you don't know really where to start. You just know you got to hurry before you got a real mess on your hand or hands. And I don't know where I was going with that ice cream analogy. It's like, who invited the ants to the picnic? So these things are put into place, and we're given a backstory as to why they exist and how they exist, and the story is really just to take the magic out of it. Uh, and it's definitely under a language, a spell of language, um, literary spell, and like literal things are the manifest things. Like, I think that, the concrete things. I believe Mumbles said before that what was it? The wards, the words are the wards for the words are the wards for the incantation. Like, so. Yeah, I don't remember what I said. Man, this had so much potential.